What is going on, folks? We are live and direct. As always, we are MMA. Well, I am MMA Reloaded, and you are watching MMA Reloaded Real Talk on YouTube, live and direct. You know how we do, baby. You know that marquee. You got the sprinkling lights. You got the all that thing out there. You know what I mean? And my name, or MMA Reloaded, which is me, is painted right on that marquee, folks. And you are watching it right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. MMA Reloaded Real Talk, episode 41. Yeah, the show where we talk real, we never lie, cheat, and steal. And folks, have I got a hell of a show for you tonight? Not only because it is the aftermath of UFC 257, where we saw a spectacular performance by Dustin Poirier to cement that revenge on Conor McGregor. And it basically says to Conor McGregor, look, bro, you can't come into this sport after 2 years and then after a depleted fight in January, yeah, and think that you can step into the cage against me again. That's what Dustin Poirier basically said to him. Dustin Poirier is on another level than Conor McGregor, yeah, heading into that fight. And he showed it, yeah. His counter boxing was beautiful. Conor did have his good moments here with his little shoulder strikes and the uppercut combination. But Dustin Poirier, that experience, that activity, that resume, all that, yeah, came as a factor, came as a momentum builder for the Diamond in that win. And that combination, the barrage on Conor McGregor to finish it. He says timing beats speed. Well, bitch, Dustin had it all that night. And last night, he was a better man. So, Dustin Poirier is right at the top of the heap right now at 155. No doubt about that. He is going for the belt. But who's going one-on-one with him? Yeah? There's only one name that really stood out last night with Dustin Poirier at lightweight, and that one name was Michael Chandler. Now, Michael Chandler came into his UFC debut, three-time Bellator World Lightweight Champion, holds about 9 records, 6, 7 records even on, at Bellator, yeah, approximately. He is perhaps a godfather in Bellator's history. Yeah, he came in with that reputation. Although in the UFC they don't mention Michael Chandler as a Bellator World Lightweight Champion, we know who he is. We know who he was coming into it, and he showed us last night what he's all about. And Michael Chandler starched Daniel Hooker. Now Dan Hooker, man, he came in top 10, top 5, top 6. Actually, he came in not top 6. Yeah, he came in top 7. At lightweight, folks. He was number 7 at lightweight, and everyone thought that Dan Hooker was gonna push through Michael Chandler at the end of that, but he didn't. Michael Chandler did it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds in the first round, folks. How about that? How about that? What a man! Michael Chandler showed us last night, folks. If you didn't know him at Bellator, you know him now. That's what he aimed to do, and that's what he did, in my opinion. It was a damn good fight. Yeah, it was a damn great performance. And Dana White, if you heard him in the post-fight press conference, put Michael Chandler at the top of that heap. Now, folks, on that note, and we come off UFC 257, great performances, great moments. Yeah, not only in the main event, co-main event, but great performances on the prelims, great performances all round. Marina Rodriguez, dang, knocked out Amanda Ribas literally twice, man. I would give that as a 2 stoppages in 1 fight type shit. Great performance, great fight with Brad Tavares and Antonio Carlos Jr. Brad Tavares getting that W, getting back into that win column and showing why he is top 15 middleweight material. You had great performance all around. You had Marcin Prashinio and Khalil Roundtree on that card. Joanne Calderwood and Jessica Eye get into a war tonight, folks. I sit with a man who is going into a war at UFC 258, his second UFC appearance. His first was a short ass notice fight with Daniel Rodriguez. And folks, to take Daniel Rodriguez to a decision in less than a week notice, it took some balls, and this boy has got balls, man. Trust me. He is the coolest cat outside the cage. He is a savage inside the cage. Yeah. He is a former CXF California regional champion, gifted Gabriel Green. And folks, Gabe will step back into the octagon at UFC 258. And folks, you have no idea what you're missing out if you don't know who Gabriel Green is. If you don't, I suggest you go check out his Instagram at Gifted Gabe Green. And folks, while you do that, we do the particulars, and we stop the video for like 2 seconds to send Gabe the invite. Yo, ladies, welcome back. We just sent Gabriel Green the invite, folks. If you don't know him, folks, man, what a show this one's going to be. Tune into the show. Yeah, folks, and going back to UFC 257 last night, I have to say it was a hell of a card. Capped off with two great performances by Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. Do you and folks, does this really cement the lightweight championship picture? Two lightweight number one contenders. You have Justin Gaethje, but I think Justin Gaethje will take on Charles Oliveira. Tony Ferguson. Where does Tony go? Where does Tony Ferguson go from here? Do we finally get Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor? If we do, mentally, I think Tony Ferguson's a lot stronger than Conor McGregor, and I think we're gonna have a great fight in that one. My one's gonna be bloody as fuck. There's going to be a war if he actually makes that. What's next for Dan Hooker? What is next for Dan Hooker, man? Shit. I don't know. That lightweight division is so odd right now. I don't know what would be next for Dan Hooker. After a first round loss, if you check the rankings here, folks. So if you check the rankings right now, let's just check them rankings for a while, wouldn't it? Yeah, fucking hell, you fucking serious, you bastard. No. Sorry, folks. Just ran into a little issue in it. So, take a look at this. Alright, so we take a look at the UFC lightweight rankings here, folks. Bad, Jordan. Hold up. Okay, so Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker came in at number 6. You can do Dan Hooker versus Rafael dos Anjos. Rafael dos Anjos is at number 7. Then you have Tony Ferguson, number 5. Do we do Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor? Do we do Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje? There you go. That's your matchmaking, boy, right there. Done. Overall done deal. Hooker versus RDA. Tony Ferguson, McGregor, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler for the lightweight champ. Let's go. Let's get it. Come on, G. That's simple mathematics right there, folks, for y'all. Yeah. And then, folks, if we look to the next card, if we look to UFC 258, which is the next pay-per-view, folks, the UFC comes back to Las Vegas. February the 13th, which is literally about just a bit more than 2 weeks away. So, folks, and it of course gives me great pleasure if you're just tuning in to MMA Reloaded Raw Talk. It gives me great pleasure to sit with my brother, a real G, a cool cat outside the cage, a savage inside, gifted Gabriel Green. Yeah, folks, and Gabe should be joining us in about 10 minutes or so. But till then, folks, of course, talked about UFC 257. Where does and now, folks, if we look at the pay-per-view card after that, UFC 258, where Gabriel Green will step back into the cage against Philip Rowe, and we will finally see what the gifted one is all about on a full camp. Yeah, folks, and I urge you to watch that fight. He is a must-watch fighter. Kamaru Usman goes one-on-one with Gilbert Burns, folks, and he defends his welterweight championship of the world once again. Now, if I'm honest, yeah, folks, Kamaru Usman is legit, as you want any fighter. I think he sort of defines that sort of realm. He defines that modern era realm of athleticism into mixed martial arts. He is one of the best athletes in mixed martial arts today, no doubt. Yeah, everyone wants to say that Kamaru Usman's a boring fighter. Look at his fight with Colby Covington. Look at his fight with Tyron Woodley. Yeah, he knows. Kamaru Usman knows how to win, right? And that's what we want in a champion. Someone who's a winner. Someone who's got that swagger to them like Kamaru Usman does. And someone who is not going to take that shit. Well, he meets that someone at UFC 258. He meets Gilbert Durinho Burns. And I've got to say, folks, yeah, Mr. Durinho is not coming to shake Kamaru Usman's hand. No way in hell, yeah, is he coming to shake Kamaru's hand, boy. I'll tell you what, yeah. Gilbert Burns is a beast. We saw that against Tyron Woodley in his breakout performance, his biggest breakout performance to date. It wasn't his first rodeo by any means. It was not his first rodeo in the UFC by any means. Yeah, folks. If I count how many UFC appearances Gilbert's had, yeah, folks. Yeah, he made his debut in 2014. 7 years in the UFC. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 UFC appearances. Yeah, folks. He's on a 6-fight win streak. Yeah, his last loss was in 2018 to Dan Hooker, and it was one of Dan's best performances ever. He put that punishment and then the punch to finish it by to put down Gilbert Burns. But Gilbert Burns, folks, is a world-class martial artist. You want to talk about fast-paced, mixed with technical, hard-hitting, and the guy is a very intelligent fighter. Yeah, he gets wild. He does. He gets very, very wild. But he has more than just wild punches. He has great boxing. He has a fantastic jiu-jitsu game. If you know his brother is, yeah, Herbert Burns. Herbert Burns impacted the UFC with his submission. And Gilbert Burns is no stranger to submissions here, folks. 8 submission wins in 19 career wins. 8 of those have been submissions. He is an absolute savage, and Gilbert Burns against Tyron Woodley was probably the best example of what he could do with the right opportunity. Yeah. What we see now with the welterweight division is a dynamic. There's a big dynamic in there. Yeah, you heard it with Daniel Cormier and John Anik, Paul Felder. They were talking about it at Magny versus Chiesa, the welterweight division. You got Michael Chiesa calling out Colby Covington. You got Jorge Masvidal in there. Where does Masvidal? What does Masvidal do? I would say you give Masvidal Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in a rematch that we all want to see. It was one of the best fights I think in the welterweight division at the time. And Jorge Masvidal versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You want to talk about two legit veterans going one-on-one again in a rematch? I would love to see that. It would be a great fight for Masvidal to come back on. It would be a great fight for Wonderboy to keep building his repertoire and keep building his claim towards another welterweight championship shot if he is successful. Yeah, you want to talk about, and then you got Leon Edwards and Khamzat Chimaev in March, only because Leon Edwards couldn't get a fight in the UFC. Yeah, Leon Edwards wasn't matched up with anyone in the top 5 in the UFC. He went out and made a call out on Twitter. Khamzat Chimaev responded, "Bob's your uncle." Khamzat Chimaev, Leon Edwards in March. So you have that. Yeah, I would say, does Michael Chiesa deserve Colby Covington? Yeah, I would say give it to him. 4-fight win streak now for Michael Chiesa. Yeah, it was a fantastic performance. He wants Colby Covington because he wants to prove that Colby's style is not Colby is not the best at grinding. Colby is not the best at wrestling. Colby can talk, but against a guy like Michael Chiesa, yeah, someone who's so tough, yeah, and with the fight IQ Michael Chiesa has, it is not going to be an easy ride for Colby Covington if Dana White makes that fight. Now, where does Neil Magny go from here? I would say we give Neil Magny Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal, or we give, if we look at the welterweight ranks, yeah, got to look at them rankings, folks. Come on, G. It's some bullshit out here, son. You've got to look at the welterweight ranks. Yeah. So if you look at them welterweight rankings here, folks, you have Neil Magny at number 9 now, all right? Neil Magny versus Vicente Luque would be a great fight. Vicente is at number 10. But then you have Tyron Woodley. Do you think we should do Neil Magny versus Tyron Woodley? Whew, what a fight that would be for Tyron to come back. If Tyron would lose that, I would say retire. If Neil Magny wins that, it will be great for his ranking and be great for him to rise up. And then you have you got Jeff Neal there at number 11, coming off the loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in a point fighting extraordinaire, if you will, or point fighting spectacle from Wonderboy. You got Bilal Muhammad, who's fighting. Who's Bilal fighting? Oh, fuck. I know Bilal's fighting. Bilal's fighting at UFC 258, folks. Yeah, it's just remembering who he's fighting. Yeah, but then Bilal Muhammad's also ranked at number 13. You also got the Leech, Li Jingliang, who's at number 12 right now, folks. Li Jingliang has broken that top 15 barrier. I think Neil Magny versus Li Jingliang number 2 would be a great fight. Or you give Jeff Neal Li Jingliang, you give Neil Magny Vicente Luque, or Gilbert Burns, of course, with Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington, Michael Chiesa, that's cool. Jorge Masvidal versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. There's your matchmaking. Bomber Club. Lightweight division and welterweight division sorted. Thank you, UFC. Yeah, you can write me a check for like 100 G's later, innit? Yeah, that's what I do, man. That's what I do, boy. Yeah, I matchmake for y'all. Yeah, email me, man. MMAreloaded@gmail.com. Yeah, and I will spit your ideal matchups out to you right now. Bam. All these guys fought. All these guys think, yeah, like, oh, yeah, oh, I want to see this and I want to see that and I want to see that. No. You got to think about what's best for business. You got to think about, boy, is this fight what we really want to see? Maybe not, but is it best for business? Yes. That's what you have to think about, bro. You have to think about who deserves the opportunity and who don't. You have to think about, top 10, top 5, top 2. Who's your number 1 contender? Shit, I don't know. So we need to make a fight to produce a number one contender. That's why MMA Reloaded got the hookup for you when it comes to matchups, UFC. Come on, G. And folks, we're still waiting on the return of Bellator MMA. Also, of course, folks, Bellator killed it in 2020 with their trip to Paris. They were going all over the place, to Milan, even, and we saw a lot of great moments at Bellator in 2020 with Aaron Pico. You saw Fabian Edwards versus Costello Van Steenis, which was a great fight. And then we saw a lot of things with women as well, with Cyborg. You saw Lima McFarlane lose her title. It's going to be an interesting dynamic with Bellator, folks, now that Anthony Rumble Johnson, Yoel Romero, you have Corey Anderson. That light heavyweight division is something to watch at Bellator. It's interesting to see what they do and what Ryan Bader has in store with that. Not Ryan Bader anymore, sorry. Who they have as the number one contender for Vadim Nemkov, who is the Bellator light heavyweight champ. Ryan Bader, on the other hand, is the heavyweight champion. Yeah, and Bellator's heavyweight division has been a bit up in the air as of late, folks. So you have to say Timothy Johnson will be a man up there right now. Say Tim Johnson's your number one contender in that heavyweight. That's the only guy who's really stood out to me, man. And then in the bantamweight division, run by Juan Archuleta, the Spaniard, a guy I have huge respect for. Juan Archuleta, folks, you have Rafion Starts, you have Sergio Pettis, James Gallagher. Yeah, bros who put on a performance of a lifetime against Carl Eleanor. You know, that bantamweight division may be the most star-studded, stacked division out there, and I'm not even going to lie. It's crazy. That bantamweight division is crazy. Yeah, so folks, we're going to have a look to see where Gabriel is. Hopefully, Gabriel's coming through. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Gabriel Green, folks, will be joining us, of course, in a bit. Check this interview, folks, is going to be as real as it gets. It's not really an interview. He's my brother. Yeah, folks, this is his third time on the MMA Reloaded Raw Talk. And, of course, with UFC 258 and Gabriel stepping on that stage, yeah, folks, I want to introduce y'all to who Gabriel Green is. If you haven't seen him yet, check out our first interview, check out our first podcast with Gabriel Green. Yeah, folks, and you'll find out who this savage is, because we're going to have some real take up in there, man. So, yeah, folks, you know, Bellator Bantamweight division is probably the most star-studded division. You have to say that you would be lying if you didn't say that you're not looking forward to seeing Bellator return with all the new signings that they've been signing up. Rumble's been going to Bellator. Yoel Romero been at Bellator, going to Bellator. You have Corey Anderson, Sergio Pettis, all these guys, and it's going to be a fantastic 2021, I think, for mixed martial arts, with PFL MMA also returning 8 new signings for the 2021 season. Rory McDonald, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Showtime Pettis. Yeah, bro, 4 of the biggest stars. Yeah, without a doubt, shadow of a doubt. Yeah, 4 of the biggest stars. Weight in mixed martial arts, man. Outside the UFC and outside Bellator. Yeah, Rory McDonald, former UFC welterweight contender. Bellator, he was the Bellator welterweight champion. You also had, oh fuck's sake, you got Fabricio Verdum, of course, former UFC heavyweight champ, one of the most decorated mixed martial artists, most decorated mixed martial artists of all time. It is going to be something, folks, to behold. Trust me, man. Just gonna wait for this. All right, cool. yeah, it's going to be something to behold in PFL's 2021 season to see how it plays out. Of course, you expect some divisions to be more stacked than others, but yeah, man, hopefully PFL pull it out, man. Folks, we got Gifted Gabriel Green ready to go. Let's get it, man. Let's go. It's my boy right there. Yes. Yeah,
What's
boy.
up?
Come on, man. One season to see how it plays out. Hold up, Gabe. Hold up, brother. Of course, you expect some divisions to be more stacked. What the fuck? But yeah, man, hopefully. Where the fuck is that even coming from? Pull it out, man. Folks, we got Gifted Gabriel Green ready to go. Let's get it, man. Okay. Hold up, Gabe. Hold up, man. Where that's coming from, man? There you go. Yeah, hold up, man. Yo, Gabe.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How's it going, brother?
Oh, you know, just another day in paradise.
Yeah, man, living the dream, man. Shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Bro, you're like this right now, man. Yeah, that's it, bro. You gotta see that mug, bro. Come on.
Let me see.
Okay. Man, how's it been going, bro? It's been a hot minute, man, since we linked up, you know, brother. And yeah, man, UFC 258. Shit. Gifted Gabriel Green coming back, man, on a full camp. No less than a week notice fight, bro. But yeah, man, how you feeling, bro, coming in UFC 258? How you feeling overall, man?
Yeah, I mean, a lot more prepared than the last one for sure. The other one is night and day difference. That's it, you know, just been in camp. Had a little bit of an injury, so I mean that's why I didn't fight earlier. But that injury is all good now, and I've been in camp training, ready to rock.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro. And listen, bro, you took a fight against someone like Daniel Rodriguez, yeah, on what was it, like 5 days? Yeah, even less than that. 4 days. 4 days. Yeah. And bro, you took him to a unanimous decision, yeah, to introduce yourself to a UFC audience. And I have to say, yeah, you should not be disappointed in that, yeah, at all. Yeah, shit. I mean, it was a fucking war, bro. What did you take away from that fight after you went in there, bro, and after the fight happened? What did you take away from that experience?
Just, you know, I mean, I wish I would have done better, and got that W. But I mean, it's just like what you said. I went in there with someone who's knocking everybody out. So at the very least, it proved to myself, you know, going to decision on 4 days notice that the UFC is where I belong. You know, it's just whoever they put me with, you know, 4 days notice, full camp, doesn't matter. It's where I belong. Like I'm good enough to compete with these guys. I'm good enough to win too. Give me a couple of days of preparation.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, bro. 100%. And then if we fast forward to present day, eight months later, yeah, bro, you return to meet a guy who's practically on the same mission as you are. Yeah, you came in to the D-Rod fight on a 6-fight win streak. He's coming into this one on a 6-fight win streak. Yeah, when you see yourself right now, bro, yeah, on a full camp, have you made any changes in your camp going into this fight? Because I've seen you, bro, doing a lot of running, doing a lot of work with your hands and your cardio. Yeah, man, have you made any changes in your routine, or have you kept it sort of ideal?
Well, I mean, yeah, my camp's a lot different in general, especially now that I'm fighting at 170. So started lifting some weights, getting buff, trying to put some size on, because those guys at 170 are a little bigger than the 155ers. So I added that to my routine, or for my routine. But in general, like I haven't had a fight camp since 2018. So that's a long time. A lot of stuff has changed, you know.
Yeah, man. And
For real, man, it's 2021. My last fight camp was in 2018. That's wild.
that's crazy, bro. Can you believe that? 3 years, bro. 3 years, man. And that was at CXF as well, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
Like the whole stage, the difference, bro. UFC, CXF, man. If you compare those two, that shit must be crazy. That's mad, actually, man. Um, yeah, bro. Like when you do it, if we go back, yeah, bro, to taking fights on short notice, yeah, and we see a lot of guys right now doing it because you want to break out, right? You want to fucking carve your own path in the game. Um, how do you feel, bro, on taking short notice fights? And in your mind, what is the best time for a fighter to take short notice fights?
No, I mean, I'll take fights on short notice. I don't think there's any problem taking fights on short notice as long as you're one of those people who live in the gym regardless. And that's usually the type of person I am. I don't really take days off. Regardless, people ask me, what's the difference between your camp and, no camp? And I'm like, it's really the same shit. Whether I have a fight or not, I'm on just learning, getting better, getting faster, getting stronger every single day, regardless if I got something lined up or not. I think if you take out the years that I had to not train because of injury, I've only been training for like 4 going on 5 years. So I'm pretty new to this whole fighting shit. So that's what I think in my head. I'm like, man, I'm like late to the game. I ain't gonna take no days off. Everyone out here trying to beat me up. I'm gonna be in there every day to make sure that doesn't happen. So if that's the case, then you're just always ready for a fight. So when they're like, oh, it's 4 days notice, but it's not 4 days of notice where you're not prepared. It's 4 days notice where, you'd be ready for a fight tomorrow. Give me 1 day notice. I'm ready for a fight regardless. I'm in there doing my thing. But the problem with the last one was, you seen I was in pretty like physical shape with my endurance and everything, just because I never stopped running and I did that. But COVID shut everything down too. So I hadn't even seen my coach for 3-4 months or whatever. From the time that I fought him, like that night when I rode in, my coach picked me up and we rode out to Vegas. I was like, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute, So it was just, and that's different, I tried my best to stay ready as possible, but it's different not having a camp and, like your timing, you can't drill, slipping stuff and doing all that stuff. And I still made, D-Rod miss a couple of times just off the natch, but it's different, when you're actually fighting someone. So as long as you're in there and you're constantly drilling, you're doing your mitt work, you're working with your teams, you're doing all that stuff, I think you could take a fight, at any time, unless, it's like a very special case with like a very particular, fighter, because styles make fights. Then, a little bit of prepared time, will go a long way on that. But otherwise, I'd say fight. We're fighters. Go fight. We should stay ready. There's fighters out there though that they only go in and train when they have fight camps. They other than that, they're like, oh, I don't got no fight. I'm chilling. I'm enjoying life. It's like, man. Well, like me, I can't speak for everyone, but personally, me, I enjoy my life the most when I'm inside the gym training every day. So I'm lucky, I guess. Other people don't enjoy it as much as me. And I understand it. It getting punched in the face, getting kicked in the leg, getting, picked up, taken down, and having to do that over and over again. It's not the most fun thing for everybody. But me, I'm like, man, I live for it. I'm all about it. I'm like, let's go do it again. My coach is like, nah, like take a day off. I'm like, nah, are you sure? He's just like, Gabe, don't come in tomorrow. I'm like, all right. So it's just different, like I'd say you always have enough time. Short notice, you should just be ready at all times, because you shouldn't ever, like take yourself out the game like that, even though other people do.
Damn right. And bro, you're the type of guy, who would just fucking take a fight, whenever, however, anytime, any place. It's because of how you fight, right, bro? Like you said, it styles made fights, And I've seen you do some crazy shit. Like in the fights I've seen you, I've seen you do some crazy shit. Like you just go forward no matter what happens. You went forward on D-Rod a couple times. You landed a couple big ass shots. Is that what you mean when you say styles made fights, when you take fights on short notice? Yeah, if a guy fights like you do, or like Kevin Holland does, or a style like that. Yeah? Or if you're in shape physically. Yeah, bro, because is that why a fighter should take a fight on short notice? Because they're in shape, they want to fight. Um, they've been in the gym and they're just waiting, bro. Is that
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I'm saying. Like when we're all fighters, we should be ready to fight, you know, at all times. Like I said, some people they almost like just fight when they're gonna get ready to fight, and they'll like if they have nothing signed, then they're not even training, you know, like that's what some people do. And I'm just like, man, I mean, like I don't personally understand that, but you know, go ahead and do whatever makes you feel happy.
yeah,
Like yeah, I can't get enough of this stuff. So I'm in there every day in, day out, and just trying to go get it.
that's what it is, bro. It's a 24-hour day, 365 day fucking a year job, bro. Yeah,
Yep.
that's it, man. And then Gabe, like if we turn the tables, you said you're pretty young to the fighting game at 12 fights in your career. Do you think that I want to talk about like veterans, bro, battle tested vets, because I want to talk about like mental health and the mentality of some of these guys after their UFC careers and after their fighting careers. You have a guy like Spencer Fisher, bro, who at 17-time UFC veteran was diagnosed with CTE and dementia. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts? Like, you know, when you see like even pro football players, yeah, bro, in the NFL or in the NHL, whatever sport, bro, yeah, you get these guys who have multiple concussions. They carry on playing, and then what are your thoughts when you hear those types of stories and see those types of injuries to
I
guys
mean,
so young?
it's a scary thing, you know, like I definitely want to, when I retire from fighting, still have my wits, you know. I don't want to be like just like kind of loopy and like not know what's going on. And you know, like you've seen like Ali before he passed, the way he was, you know, like I mean I don't want to be like that. That's like, so I mean you should be training hard, but you should also be training smart. I mean you don't gotta go balls out and try to knock each other out every single time you're inside the gym, you know. You could just, you know, like I was saying, it's drills. You just got to work your drills, get your timing, slip, you know. You ain't gonna get CT by running takedowns and like running the pipe over and over again, or sprawling or checking kicks, you know. It's just all stuff that you got to work to make sure that your mind's working and your body's, you know, connected, you know, 100%, no kinks or nothing, and that chain's good, so you could just react when and go. And that's what you should be drilling, you know, even if it's just at, I mean, don't get me wrong, 100% that needs to happen when you're going, and that's something that you need to experience in your fight camp, but you don't need to experience it every single day. Just drilling at, you know, like at 65 and getting your body used to moving and reacting on all that stuff, just, you know, chilling is super important. I think that's what, I mean, that's how you should train, you know. Should be not chilling, you know, everything should be good still, you know, throwing at a keeping a good pace, you know, nice fluid strikes, making sure your foundation and your technique is on point, flawless, no flaws in it. And so, you know, like you're working your slip, going underneath, hitting that takedown, you know, snatching the single leg, just doing all that stuff over and over and over again. And I mean, even that's what I'm saying. Like, I can understand why people don't want to train all the time, because even, you know, just doing that, just think about this. Imagine like laying down on the floor, like legit, like you're laying flat on your back, and then having to stand up, and then laying back down on your floor, and then standing up, and doing that for like an hour. That's like, you can just start a gym off of that. You're like, yo, I got this new idea for a gym. Everyone's going to lose weight. You're like, what are you going to do? All right, here's the class. We're going to lay on the floor and we're going to stand up. I mean, that's essentially what a wrestling class is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just drilling someone, even when you're not the one doing the actual technique and the guy's taking you down, right? If I shoot a double on you and I take you down to your back and then you have to stand up, you're getting tired from just having to stand up over and over again. It's a grueling on the body. It's extremely hard on the body. And even just being the person who's helping me get ready for my, you know, helping me do the technique. So imagine like the actual guy who's doing everything. It's a hard thing to do. You're like, and a lot of times, even like I love it and I do it every day, but even sometimes I'm like, man, my body's tired, you know? Like, I'm like, man, I need a break. I mean, I don't take that break unless my coach is like, no, Gabe, don't come in. But I'll be like, man, I'm tired right now, you know?
Yeah, man. No, facts. Bro, and when you see that and when you talk about training smart and fighting smart, yeah, but it goes hand in hand, right? A lot your ideal plan as a fighter, yeah, is to employ what you train and what you drill into the cage. Yeah, but game plans are so important. And you hear it in the corners at fights here when the camera goes in the corner, and you hear these corner men go, "Why didn't you fucking do this? Or this goes here, or you should throw this and this at this time." But when you hear that, yeah, Gabe, and when you see guys uh, not following their game plan, or when you see guys just went by adrenaline, yeah, but how important is it to follow a game plan, yeah, and to listen to your coaches, or in the third round or fourth round,
Yeah.
fifth, a guy might go by adrenaline because he might break his hand or a rib might be broken or something. What do you think about that, bro? And how important is it to actually have that strategy going deep into a fight?
I think game plans are cool, but I don't think they shouldn't be strict, you know, like they should be able to be changed. They're definitely not set in stone. I mean, because like what did Mike Tyson say? Everyone has, you know, a plan till they get punched in the face. Things change when you're out there, no matter what. No matter how hard you've trained everything, no matter how, I mean, that's the thing. Like you want to train so much that you kind of just do things without even thinking. You kind of just want to flow into it, you know, and just have stuff happen. But if I go in there and I'm like, okay, this is how it's going to happen. I'm going to do this just like this. Too many variables. I mean, the only way I know it's going to happen is if I'm the person controlling the other guy. And you can do your best as a fighter to make the other guy do what you want him to do. But at the end of the day, you know, I mean, you see tape on them and you try to study them. If you do have that, you know, that prep time and it's not on 4 days or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't know how he's gonna react if I go in there and if I come running at him with a flying knee. I don't know what he's gonna do. You know, like Masvidal, he watched man, what's his name?
Ben Askren.
Yeah, he watched Askren over and over again and saw which way he dipped his head, and he had that. So like that was. So he knew, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go out there throwing this flying knee. He's gonna move his head to that side, and that's gonna be it. And so it worked for him, you know. But you know, if Askren moved his head to the other side, then he would have threw the knee to his shoulder, and it wouldn't have been the way he did. I mean, it's really dope that it happened the way it happened. I enjoyed it, you know. But you know, like it's that there was no guarantee that that's what it was gonna be, you know. He got I don't want to say lucky because you know it was what he prepared for, but everything just worked out in his favor. And sometimes it does that, but it doesn't always do that. So then right there, you know, that's his game plan. I'm pretty sure he had something going on past that, but if he would have done that, boom, and then Askren moved his head the way he usually doesn't move it, you know, or maybe Askren just like went like that and like backed up a little bit. It doesn't land anymore. He would have to land on his feet, you know, and then go on and be like, okay, what's, you know, like I said, like it can't be set in stone. He's like, all right, so now what? He would have to think on his feet, move around and do something else. But it is important to listen to your corners, you know, have a level head, especially going back in between rounds, because your coaches should be an extra set of eyes, you know, like I'm going out there and I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm fighting the guy, trying to stay, you know, nice, calm, and composed, you know, throwing my right hand, see what he does, throwing my jab, see what he does. If I pick up my leg, what's happening. And, but it's hard to see all of that stuff when you're in the middle of the fight, you know, and when your corners are watching it, they're seeing everything from the outside. And then you can come back and you'll be like, when they're talking to their, all right, Gabe, you know, every time you throw that right hand, he's dropping his this other side. So, fake it, come up with the left on the left hook on the other side. And I'm like, oh, snap. Like, I didn't even see that. Good. Like, thanks. He's like, yeah, try that. And that's just what they're telling you, little stuff like that. Or every time you change levels, he drops his hand, just fake it, come up, boom, like just stuff that I'm like, oh man, how did I not see that? And they're like, well, that's what we're here for. So, I mean, it's important to know that stuff. Or even if you're just, in a jam, if you're off your back or even on top and he has his butterfly in or something, and the coach is like, clear the butterfly, and you're like, oh, boom, like, because you be forgetting stuff, like we drill, but some stuff is just like, because it's hard, you're in the moment, you're fighting, and
that's adrenaline, right, bro?
Yeah, it's just, because it's the weirdest thing, because I don't want to say you don't want to think when you're out there, because you do kind of want to think and like set things up, but at the same time, you don't want to think at all, and you kind of just want to let it flow. You got to find that like happy medium where you're thinking but not really thinking and just letting things go.
It's hard as fuck out there, man. I can only imagine, man. I've been in a few brawls myself, bro. I know what it's like. And then Gabe, if we talk about fighting smart, we talk about the fighters who fight. Yeah, I want to talk about guys who come in with a lot of hype. Yeah. Most recently, last night, Dustin Poirier starched Conor McGregor, and Michael Chandler starched Dan Hooker. Yeah, bro. And then before that, you see guys like Kevin Holland. Then you see guys like Joaquin Buckley, who got knocked out by Alessio, but with a head kick. And he came off that viral knockout, fucking a hype train like I've never seen before, bro. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't have that talent, right, bro? That doesn't mean that he's no less talented because he got knocked out. It just means that he's got to pick himself up and learn, right, bro, when he comes back in.
No, yeah. I mean, I've been knocked out. If you fight enough, probably everyone's gonna get knocked out. You fight enough times. It's a game of inches and seconds, like it doesn't take a lot. And it doesn't take a lot to get knocked out. Like even the person with the best chin, if you get hit in the right spot, it's lights turn off. And that doesn't take anything against or away from anyone who's in a hype train, doing all kinds of stuff, trying to get better and or take off their career. But it's like it doesn't take. It can't take away from it, like if you're out here and you're doing your thing and you got the hype train around it, and all of a sudden you get cracked, it doesn't mean you're not good anymore. You're still good. You did all the other stuff that you've done before. It doesn't erase it. But for some reason, the people watching everything have like the attention span of like goldfish or something, and they just like they can only remember what just happened, and that's one of the things about our sport. If you can go on a 10 fight rampage and just be knocking everybody out, and all of a sudden you get knocked out in 30 seconds, everyone's like, oh, this guy sucks. It's just like, oh, what? I just knocked out 10 guys like they were good, and they're like, you got knocked out in 30 seconds.
It's like Tony Ferguson. Yeah. Like Tony was on a 12-fight win streak. And after he lost to Charles Oliveira, they were like, Tony sucks, bro. Yeah, he should retire and all this shit. It's not, he didn't lose 3 fights in a row. He's not like 5-2 in his last 7 or 3-4 in his last 7 or whatever. Yeah, he's 12-2 in the last 14. Yeah, but it's crazy. And then
he's fighting guys that are like, the top of the UFC at 155 too. It's not like he's fighting chumps, It's like, man, these other guys, they're training just as hard as him, if not harder. So it's not like it, especially when you're when you're the champ, for sure, you got a target on your back. But even if you're in just that top 10, top 15, they all got targets on their back, because everyone else who's not in the top 15 are like, no, I'm going to take this guy out, regardless. So that's why I understand how people just don't be training. They're just like, oh, like, I don't know if they become like content with anything, or they're just like, oh, I'm good. I'm in the top 15. I'm untouchable, like this and that. It's like, nah, I definitely think like I'm going to be champion, right? It's going to happen. So, and then when I'm there, I'm just never going to stop training. I'll be like, nope, I'm here. Everyone else trying to beat me up. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen. I'm going to keep on training.
I mean, they gave like when we talk about training and we talk about activity, we talk about all these hype trains, yeah. Conor McGregor, yeah, bro. If I'm honest, didn't have a proper fight since 2018. Yeah, when he beat Khabib, when he lost to Khabib, he didn't have a proper fight since the Nate Diaz 2 fights, bro. That's the last time I think we saw a proper Conor McGregor. He came in. He came in last night, yeah, Gabe. And I'll be real honest right now. He came in beating a depleted cowboy who had lost his last 4 fights. Yeah. And then he comes up here and he thinks that he's Dustin Poirier's level in a rematch. It's not happening, bro. Yeah. And without being active, without training. Yeah, even in all that time, he hasn't trained. I saw him on a fucking boat in Colombia doing coke. And he's not training. You come up against a world-class championship level Dustin. That's what happens. Yeah, bro. That's prime example, number one, what we've been talking about. Right?
I mean, Conor is good. Even before, like, you know, like the stuff that he did in that fight, I mean, he ended up getting knocked, but I mean, he didn't look like bad, you know. He got cracked in the calf, and then he just, you know, calf kicks are one of those things that are like hard to check anyways, you know, because like if you're not getting hit in the calf muscle, you're getting hit shin to shin, and that's not that fun either. And you know, he was trying to stop it, but it's just something, you know, he probably wasn't getting a lot of in training camp. You know, he wasn't drilling, like moving his leg back. He did it. I think he did it like once or twice when Dustin threw it. He like switched his stance real quick and he made a miss. And that's like, you know, that's the ideal situation. But then after you got hit a couple of times, it is leg kicks in general, calf, quad, whatever. They're debilitating. You hitting the leg, shit don't work no more. And you're just like, what the heck? I can't move it. And he was doing it good. Then he started trying to, you know, catch it. But even then, it seemed like he like caught it and he was holding it and he was making Dustin move, but he didn't really do anything. He didn't like hold it and chop the other guy's leg. He didn't chop his leg. He didn't do anything. He just kind of held it, lifted it up, and it seemed like he hadn't drilled that stuff in a while. So like, yeah, he has his fight camp, and I'm sure he prepared for a lot of stuff going into this fight, but it just wasn't it wasn't the same Conor that, you know, we're used to seeing, or like I mean. He's getting older, but I mean, he's still only 32. That's still prime. That's still prime. You know, you're not out of your prime at 32. I just think he needs to take the whole thing a little bit more seriously. I'm sure he got ready for this fight. I'm sure he was, I mean, he was training, but it wasn't the same Conor that we're used to seeing. As opposed to Dustin, he had a chip on his shoulder. He was probably training harder than he's ever trained in his whole life just to get back the KO that he got, you know, because he got knocked out last time. I definitely would go in there like that. If I was Dustin, I'd be like, you know what? Like, nah, he knocked me out last time, but that's not happening again. I'm knocking him out this time. And so Dustin probably was fired up, you know, just like, no, I'm coming after him with everything I got. And then Conor was kind of more like, you know, like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and seems like he just going in there. Like, don't be wrong, he wants to win, but it was more like, all right, you know, I'm gonna ease back in here. I already beat this guy. This is gonna be an easy one. I'm gonna get this belt and I'm gonna be chilling again.
Hell no. That's what it comes down to, consistency. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it can come down to consistency, fam. You can't be, bro. I have to say, Conor's legit. He's legit. Yeah. He's as legit as it gets, yeah? And he had some good moments. He was throwing the combinations, vintage combos, yeah? But I think he got too complacent, and Dustin Poirier's experience, the activity, all that shit catches up with Conor McGregor. That's momentum for Diamond, bro. That's the momentum for Diamond. And I think that was a difference maker at the end. And then Michael Chandler, Gabe, to close it off, Michael Chandler came in, Bellator, former 3-time lightweight champion, which the UFC doesn't mention, but everyone knows it. Yeah,
I'm glad Michael Chandler won, man, because it's unfortunate. Like, don't be wrong, I'm in the UFC. I love being in the UFC. I plan to make my future with the UFC. It's gonna happen. Like I said,
rematch with Jalen Turner.
Hey, if he wants to move up to 170, you know. 155 is hard to make. What's it's unfortunate though that UFC is so big that they even, like, when it comes to, like, if they were watching a Bellator event, people from who don't know what MMA on the outside, they're like, oh, look at these guys fighting UFC right here, you know, like no, they're Bellator fighters. I'm like, oh, so they're fighting Bellator? It's like, no, they're MMA fighters, you know. That's what it is, you know. So just because of that, and the UFC does have, you know, some of the best fighters in the world, but you know, so does Bellator, so does ONE FC. You know, when you're at the top, if you're in the, you know, like the top 5, or like even if you're just looking at champions, you know, it's like, nah, man, those guys are good, and they can fight. They can fight here too. Like some of my teammates are AJ McKee and Joey Davis, and
come on, bro. AJ
you know
McKee, shout out Mercenary.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, AJ McKee's in Bellator, but that doesn't mean he's not as good as these guys in the UFC, you know. Like, I personally know he's super good, you know. Like, I train with him. It's like nah, he could fight with these guys. He definitely can fight with these guys, and they just don't get the same respect because they're not in the UFC, you know, just because it's not as a household name. And so it's cool that, you know, he came over from Bellator, and then, you know, he got a win against a top 10 guy. Like, that's super cool. And it's crazy to think that, I mean, Michael Chandler got knocked out by the current Bellator champ, who's the champ at 45 and 55. Pitbull. Yeah, by Pitbull. Yeah. So, like, and Pitbull's still in Bellator. So Michael Chandler's lost 2 guys that are on the Bellator roster right now. So it's like, if he can beat guys that are in the UFC, these other guys can beat him too. That means there's probably more guys in Bellator that can beat more guys in the UFC. It's just like, you know, it's logical to think, but they just don't get the same respect.
And the criticism was on that signing of Michael Chandler, Gabe, because everyone was thinking, why the fuck didn't Pitbull come in the UFC too?
Yeah.
Why didn't he come in the UFC too? He's on like a 15-fight win streak, hasn't been beaten. Yeah. Why isn't he in the UFC too? Yeah. But yeah, man, I guess it all comes down to politics, and you have
politics and money, probably. It's what our world runs on, unfortunately.
Unfortunately for you guys, man, Trump ain't in office no more. But yeah. Well, Gabe, I wish you all the best of luck, brother. Yeah, going into UFC 258. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, man. But it's been a hot minute, man. We need to cut it a bit shorter next time, you know. Yeah, man, I wish you all the best of luck, my brother. You know, train hard, fight hard. I know you will, and come out with that dub, man.
Yes, sir. Nah, I mean, if I don't, I'm gonna die in there before I don't come out with a dub. So I'm either you see me, or if I'm dead, I'm dead. But next time you see me, I'm definitely gonna have a W, because if not, I died. All right, 100%. I'm not losing.
Hey, man, you know who to shout out though, yeah? In that W interview, fam. Come on, shout it out.
You want that MMA Reloaded?
Oh man, you know I do, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to remember everything when you're in there with all the whatchamacallits going on and everything, but I will definitely do my best, man.
No, man, I ask for nothing less, man. Bro, it's always a pleasure, man. It's good to have you as a brother, and I wish you all the best of luck, man, going forward. UFC 258, man. It's a big ass platform, and the gifted one's ready to show up, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Nah, man, it's always a pleasure, Gabe.